Welcome to my space weather update for the 29th of June 2022. The theme for today is going to be eruptions. First, let's take a look at the summary slide that I put on my Twitter channel this morning. You can see that the sunspot numbers dropped back down again to about 40, and that's because we lost active region 3041 over the northwest limb. Planetary KP index, an indication of how disturbed geospace is very quiet at the moment, and that's because the solar wind has dropped to about 490 kilometers per second. Similarly, the GOES X-ray plot number 3 here shows a continuing decline. The background levels down to B2 level, and we've not seen a C flare for nearly 2 days. We have a lot of sunspots on the sun at the moment. This is image 4. There are 2 that are decaying quite rapidly, even though they were numbered yesterday by NOAA. That's 3043 and 3044. 3040, the region that was been there for several days, seems to be gaining spots, so that seems to be growing. The others seem to be stable or decaying. We may have 2 new regions coming over the east limb, one in the northeast and one in the southeast. Overall, we had no C flares yesterday, but there were 4 coronal mass ejections, and some of those are spectacular. See my Twitter post on this. There are 2 beautiful ones off the west limb. As there doesn't seem to be a great deal going on the sun, rather than go through the usual litany of space weather parameters, I thought what would be nice to do is to see some movies. So I've taken the helium-2 304 channel from the AIA instrument on Solar Dynamics Observatory and produced a 2-day movie. The helium-2 304 line is from the transition region. That means its temperature is about 50,000 degrees. This is the transition between the surface of the sun, which is about 5,700 degrees, to the corona at about 1,000,000 degrees. So this is the region between those two, where temperature is increasing rather rapidly and density is decreasing equally rapidly. And this makes it a very dynamic region, so we're looking for dynamics here. The first point of interest I want you to concentrate on is on the northwest limb. This is where active region 3041 has gone over the limb. Now, 3041 was not all that active during its passage across the disk, but when it gets onto the limb, you can actually see how active an inactive region is. And what I would like you to do is concentrate on this one area. Don't get diverted by what else is going on the sun. We'll get to those in a minute. So enjoy the movie. The second point of interest is near the middle of the sun. You can see this dark fuzzy feature here, which when you look at it will be very dynamic. This is the eruption of a filament on the disk. It is a dark, dense material that's erupting away from the sun and so absorbing the bright ultraviolet light coming from behind. This will almost certainly produce a coronal mass ejection. There's a rather obvious interloper coming into our field of view, and it's the moon. This is effectively a partial annular eclipse. The moon is much smaller than the sun at the moment because the SDO is on the far side of the Earth, so the moon will appear a lot smaller than the sun will. The moon streaks across the field of view in just a few frames. You can check that the moon was new on the 29th of June at 0252 UT, which is about when this image was taken. We also have Earth eclipses, but they occur near the equinox, not near the solstice, which is where we are at the moment. There's yet another point of interest down on the southeast limb, shown here with the blue arrow, and it's a prominence that's trying to erupt, and the poor thing can't quite get enough oomph to get away from the sun. It still may yet do so, so we need to keep an eye on it. But nonetheless, it's an interesting contrast to the filament that erupted at point of interest number 2. So take a look at that and see what all the dynamics that's going on there, but the filament doesn't get to get away. Now, in these movies, there's probably a lot of other things going on that I've missed. So please run through the movie several times to see if you can see other things. So in summary then, the sun is very quiet at the moment. So focusing on just 48 hours worth of images, even during a quiet time, turns up a lot of interesting phenomena. Did you find any that I missed? If so, note them down below so others can find them. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Stay safe until next time, and goodbye.